Yo, so today I'm going to be talking about another lesson you can only get from life when you're an absolute loser like me. And this is, don't get imprinted. I'll talk about what that means. Humans and basically every animal are social. They require the support of another to be able to thrive. And the thing is, children are basically like Play-Doh. Whatever environment you are born with is going to determine the rest of your life. I think that's pretty clear cut. It doesn't let things like cults or radical political ideologies to continue to proliferate no matter what happens. And what are we seeing now in the 21st century? We're seeing something that everyone has noticed. We got weak, plastic-filled, low-T boys, not even men, being raised by single mommies who statistically, inarguably, just don't do a good job in parenting in most cases. Additionally, everyone is coming under attack from deliberately subversive ideologies designed to further weaken and confuse people, well, because they don't see the targets as people, the ones who are doing it. So if you're choosing to identify as an inkwell, chances are you're probably up against all of these full force. Crappy parents, bad genetics, awful social influences, no strong figure to look up to. So that brings me back to the point of imprinting. This is gonna be a Hiroshima Nagasaki black bill, I'd say. But humans need social connection, and as a sub 5, you must be prepared to not get it, to live your life without it. Like I said, because your whole lineage is probably crap. But also another point, since you are sub 5, any social interaction and influence is going to be very different than what a normal, attractive person would get. Physiognomy is innate to everyone, no matter what. Some people do indeed rise above it, but most do not, and they will judge people subconsciously no matter what. And this will affect your upbringing if you are a sub 5 child. Those poor true cell babies, right? Every animal does this, and you can look it up. Even humans to an extent. They will abandon their offspring if it is evidently weak. And I theorize that just being ugly is enough to make your mother hate you. Sounds ridiculous, but there's plenty of cases of child sites to go off of. I mean, the whole SIDS thing just seems like a big cover-up. Just get rid of their unwanted children. But because of the woman are wonderful effect, everyone's gonna be like, oh no, poor woman. Even though she just fucking got rid of her child because she didn't like it or regretted her life decisions. And with animals, primates are another big one. Their child cries too much or falls off the tree, eventually they're gonna abandon that kid. So the social influence you would be getting as a sub 5 child would be negative, even if not necessarily hateful, it would be pitied and disappointment. I'll talk about my own upbringing here. I could spend probably about 50 videos complaining about my mother, but I don't want to waste a breath on that crap. So I'll just take this opportunity right now. In the second video I made, I said she's not dumb. Well, I've changed my mind significantly. Yeah, she's fucking retarded. I feel I've got basically nothing in common with her except that we're both fucking retarded. That'll be basically the only evidence that I'm not adopted. A toxic, abusive narcissist that keeps trying to mold me, admittedly, into an image that she likes, and controls my life to achieve it even when I'm 20 years old. Well, now it's a bit easier than it was 10 years ago for me to resist it, but she doesn't stop trying. Tries to control my hair, my clothes, what I do, what I eat, and everything. No ways you could say that is woman unleashed. Personality switches almost sociopathically depending on the situation. I can see how she surrounds herself only with yes men, weak simps, people who are too afraid to say no to her, and those out of her sphere of influence lead to very angry rants to no one in particular, because they can't be controlled. And it's fucking ridiculous that this woman is controlling an entire family with only me to say anything about it. But of course I'm powerless against that sort of stubbornness. But the point here is that she has me by the neck, and she knows it. Because I am a helpless autistic idiot with no future, I've got nothing else to rely on but this carrot that keeps being dangled above my head. And I'm being forced to be a punching bag, a clown for this woman. And would this happen if I was Chad? Super high IQ with a high paying job, self-reliant to do anything, women throwing themselves at me. Certainly not. Either she would start to respect me, or I would just be able to piss off without asking questions. She has the power to imprint an image onto me, because I am sub 5 and their weakness is sensed. And this extends everywhere you go. In a job or in a school, there's all these different stereotypes for the whipping boy or the coffee bringer, various flavors of Jester Maxer that the weakest one will turn into. So ultimately, as a sub 5 male, ideally you should start forging severe self-reliance. But since you are sub 5, that's kind of difficult to do. I feel the most that you can do here is start being more transactional, staying away from people unless you have to, because they're like sharks smelling blood. They'll zoom in on your weakness, and nature itself just puts you in your place. By her own admission, the woman is obsessed with trying to mold me into an image of a strong man, and does this by screaming at me, throwing things at me, trying to make me buzz my hair for some fucking reason. That sort of image imprinting. Unfortunately, it didn't really work. I just ended up as an overly sensitive crybaby with too many feminine tendencies. So in a way, I was still imprinted in her image, just not the intended one. And it goes back to the warning I said at the start. When you're sub 5, you can't afford to let people influence you like that. There's plenty of ideologies that do go after children and weak-minded men, or otherwise those with nothing to live for. The most obvious one is the military, of course. Build a brotherhood, serve your country. Oh no, your legs got blown off, here's your purple medal. That one is kind of blatant, since the drill instructors do literally try to brainwash you openly. And another one we see is the gradient color gang, you know the one. I've seen a rise of that targeting the youth, but their prey is almost exclusively weak men. Somehow they've gained institutional power all across the world, and you can barely disagree with them without facing a storm of threats, consequences and whatever else. The establishment deploying all its weapons against you. How do we get to that point? All that shit just seemed to spawn from thin air, like a fantasy book, and it's just about as credible to believe in as one. I think prey is very appropriate to say here. Hopeless men are their prey, and I know for certain that the people in charge of it are getting a lot of satisfaction from imposing that on people. You can find websites openly advertising surgery for nullification. That's where they remove not only your 2 but also your 3rd that's in the window, basically turning you into a Ken doll. Like, how is that allowed to be so blatant? I damn well know they're getting a kick out of that. Probably the ones doing it and the ones having it done to them. Yeah, when we reach the point where people feel they have no future, they can't work towards anything, they have nothing to live for, that's what happens to society. You look at any economically failed country, post-war societies, Weimar Germany, the only thing people have left is hedonism, degeneracy, and that's what we're arriving at. We're in the 120 days of Sodom, where every single depraved desire they could ever think of will be unleashed just to be unleashed, for no other reason than just to do it, and that they're megalomaniacs. So they will prey on people, and to a lesser extent, every person needs to satiate their will to power, right? The desire to exert your force on another living being, the driving force of all life, I'd say. And if you're sub 5, the force you receive will be negative and you'll be prey. So don't let yourself fall prey. Keep a distance. And I guess that's basically it. I'll see you around.